We see the battle of the ice types. The opponent throws on alignment and we see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent throw the icicle sphere, and unlike this opponent, there is no baiting. We full send the solar beam. Does the opponent respect the damage? Welcome back to their channel. Today is League Rotation Day. YouTube is littered with practice battles, top teams, and all that other nonsense, and we don't do any of that. Yes, we know Ultra League is going, but we don't do things like everyone else. We're going to be showing some actual Go Battle League footage this time in the Open Ultra League, courtesy of my channel regular AKchillywilly. If you've played Ultra League this week, you'll know that fire types are a top tier threat. Stuff like Talonflame, Skeledirge, and of course Charizard are everywhere, and we're running double ice, but don't worry, it's a trap. We're going to use Cryogonal as our safe switch, looking to bait out that fire type, kill it with our Swampert, and leave Abomasnow free to roam in the back. Without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game 1, AKchillywilly leads Swampert into Giratina, running the double ice trap. We've got two better responses in the back. We say switch into Cryogonal, and the opponent sends out a Charm Primarina. And does this opponent know about our grass type coverage? We full send the solar beam. Solar beam absolutely vanquishes that threat. Back to its Pokeball. Get that Primarina off my screen. The opponent now send out Empoleon, and we're already sitting in a great spot. The opponent take us out with the Hydro Cannon, and we now have the perfect alignment. Due to Empoleon's steel, water type in these mud shots are super effective. AK not even baiting the Earthquake, going straight Hydro Cannon. The opponent recognising it's only a Hydro Cannon, but Swampert hits like a truck and the opponent's left below half health. We shield up the incoming Hydro Cannon. The opponent pivot into Giratina, and hi Giratina, meet the angry snowman. Abomasnow this season did get access to Icy Wind. However, AKchillywilly opt in for Weather Ball as it is cheaper and a lot more spammy. The opponent going straight Dragon Claw. Our XL best buddy Snowman easily withstands the damage. AKchillywilly farms up to the back-to-back Weather Balls. The first one goes unshielded and we fire off back-to-back. Where does the opponent want to invest these shields? The opponent finally invests the Protect Shield on the CMP tie. I'd imagine AKchillywilly is just going to opt to let the Snowman go down and put all his hopes and dreams on the one and only GOAT Shadow Swampert. Again, AKchillywilly's counting on point. We throw the Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie and the opponent opts to invest their final Protect Shield. AK gonna match shields, look to get the full mud shot farm down. The opponent not wanting to get farmed down, send out Empoleon, but Swampert so spammy, already at the back-to-back Hydro Cannons. One Hydro Cannon takes care of Empoleon, and AKchillywilly recognising Giratina's dry goes for the BM Earthquake. GG's and thanks for playing. We're only one battle in to what I believe to be 4 entire sets we've got sent to us, and we've already seen that big beam land in the next battle. Swampert into Alolan Muck. A great lead. The opponent save switch into Sylveon. AK opts to stay in first, fire off the Hydro Cannon, looking to get some chip damage, and then we pivot out into Abomasnow. I like this pivot as Abomasnow is going to be weak to poison. The opponent throws the side shot. We easily withstand the damage. AK then throws 4 Powder Snows and the Weather Ball for optimal fast move timing. I've had a few questions recently about what I mean by optimal fast move timing. So if you throw a charge move at optimal timing, you'll only give away 1 free turn. So for example, 2 turn into 3 turn, you want to throw at 1, 4 or 7. So that'd be 2 turns versus 3 turns, only giving away 1 free turn. Or if you throw at 4, it'd be 8 turns into 9 turns, once again, only giving away 1 free turn. Interestingly enough, this is actually a Snarl variant of Alolan Muck, which did allow Abomasnow to get off the back-to-back Weather Balls. The opponent throws the Dark Pulse on our Swampert, then pivot out into their own Swampert, and here comes Cryogonal. I'm sure about 1 million people are going to tell me this thing's called Cryogonal. I've actually still got a cold, and Cryogonal is much easier to say, so we're going to go with that. Speaking of Cryogonal, we've actually got access to triple axel now. That's going to vamp up our Ice Shard damage. You can see these Ice Shards now tearing through Swampert. Both trainers still have 2 Protect Shields too hard behind. AKchillywilly opts to invest the Protect Shield, then loses CMP. Cryogonal, pretty bulky. We withstand the Hydro Cannon return fire with the triple axel, which will of course be forcing the opponent's shield. Or not. What the heck is his opponent saving them shields for? The opponent looking for the 2 shield flex, and unfortunately they instead end up saving 2 shields for next season. Very strange, but we take that. Swampert into Obstagoon. Not only are we double weak to fire, we're double weak to fighting, or in this case counter. Obstagoon or any counter user could give this team somewhat of a problem. It is going to be a core breaker, so let's see how Mr Chillywilly plays his way out of this one. We tank the Night Slash return fire with the Hydro Cannon. The opponent tanks it like a boss, but Swampert says there's plenty more of where that came from, and Hydro Cannon forces a protection. We're going to see the instant shield deployed from Mr AKchillywilly. We shield up the Knight / Swampert then, looking to farm up. The opponent attempt to make a catch onto Giratina, no such luck. AKchillywilly holds his energy, sends out Cryogonal and goes straight for that triple axel, looking to vamp up his attack. You can see that landing for decent damage against big bad bulky Giratina. AKchillywilly tanks the Shadow Force, and holy, I wasn't expecting that, and that did huge damage. AKchillywilly doesn't opt to throw a charge move here. He's just going to allow Giratina to take switch, and I imagine we're going to come in, look to Mudshot farm down. Back out comes Swampert. We get the Mudshot farm down. If Obstagoon does return, we should be able to get to the back-to-back Hydro Cannons. Back out comes Obstagoon. The first Hydro Cannon's locked. It's loaded. Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. We then bank some energy and pivot out into Abomasnow. You will notice AKchillywilly has got Icy Wind now, so perhaps we just forgot to TM it. I've done that many times. So it looks like it's going to be Icy Wind for the duration of the video from here, or perhaps we change between. I'm unsure. However, is Icy Wind going to allow us to survive a Sludge Bomb? Oof, the opponent hasn't got it. They throw the crunch. AKchillywilly then farms up, loses CMP. However, this is an Aqua Tail. It is an Aqua Tail. Abomasnow withstands the damage, returns fire with one further Icy Wind. Is Icy Wind enough? 2 knockout. No, it's not. We snipe with Swampert. We've now got the energy for a Hydro Cannon. And what a very, very impressive endgame. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle, we're going to lead the GOAT Shadow Swampert into a regular Swampert. I imagine we're going to look to pivot at some stage. However, we might stay in, look to chip and dip. The opponent goes straight for a Hydro Cannon. We're going to see AKchillywilly tank the Hydro Cannon. We're then farming up, looking to get towards the back-to-back Hydro Cannons. Hydro Cannon gonna go unshielded, and then we look to catch Hydro Cannon number 2 onto the Snowman. I imagine in most situations we will be safe switching Cryogonal, as we don't have that double weakness to fire. We're only single weak. However, in this battle it hasn't worked out too bad, as the opponent hasn't got a fire type. Instead, they send out their counter user Obstagoon. We lower their attack with the Icy Wind, which should allow us to survive any one move. The opponent actually opts to boost up their defense with that ever annoying Obstruct. But AKchillywilly, undeterred, fires off Icy Wind number 2, getting this Obstagoon down below half health. As the opponent has now boosted their defense by 2 stages, a Hydro Cannon won't be lethal. However, AKchillywilly opts to throw it anyway. Hydro Cannon gets Obstagoon down into the red, but this is going to be a very difficult Mudshot farm down. The opponent this time fire off the Night Slash, and we see the pivot into Cryogonal. Cryogonal going to need to be good against the remainder of the team, or this is going to be curtains for us. To make matters worse, of course the opponent goes for the annoying debuff. We've now got a lowered defense. The opponent pivots out into Swampert. Swampert is met with a triple axel. The opponent's final Pokemon is Charizard. Okay, this is playable. The opponent doesn't even build up to a potential blast when we see AKchillywilly opt not to shield, and we're rapidly running out of HP. We fire off one further triple axel. Triple axel goes unshielded. We should now be able to shield up this incoming Dragon Claw, commit to the full Ice Shard farm down with our double boost on attack. We do get the Ice Shard farm down, back out comes Obstagoon, and Cryogonal sweeps. GG's. Heading into the next battle, we lead Shadow Swampert into Lucario. This is a huge yikes for our backlines. They're very happy to see it here. The opponent safe switches into the Walrus, and we're going to try and rock this Walrus with the Earthquake. Earthquake goes shielded. Are we going to look for the Icicle Sphere catch? Yes, we are, but the opponent holds their energy. AKchillywilly looks to call the bait. The opponent has enough for an Earthquake, and we do not shield baits in this household. Again, we see the instant no shield deployed. The opponent continuing to masturbate, killing poor defenseless cat after poor defenseless cat. We're calling yet another bait. I've stopped counting, I'll be honest, but again, it is a bait, and unlike this opponent, we're full sending the Solar Beam. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. Get that Wall Rain out of here. Another huge Solar Beam lands. Let's go. Back out comes Lucario, and the opponent opt to throw energy. The opponent fire off the Power Up Punch, looking to vamp up their attack. We send back out Swampert. Swampert goes straight for the Hydro Cannon. Lucario probably invests the Protect Shield. Lucario essentially shields everything, and this is getting dicey. We are now forced to shield up the incoming Power Up Punch, and we need to ensure the opponent doesn't make a catch. Swampert reaches the Hydro Cannon. You see the counter go through. The opponent doesn't make that catch. Hydro Cannon secures the knockout, and we see the instant pivot into Abomasnow, drawing out Clefable. Oof, Clefable has access to Meteor Mash, so I imagine we definitely shield the first. as it would do the most damage. Holy cow, what do I know? We actually opt not to shield whatsoever. Fire off the energy ball rocks Clefable down below half health. AKchillywilly able to reach the icy wind on the CMP tie, and we're going to opt for the one shield flex. GG's, and thanks for playing. AKchillywilly, such a fun battler. He likes to boom and apparently likes to get boomed. Oh, hello, you stupid steel snake. Nice to see you nice. The opponent safe switches into Cresselia. AKchillywilly opts to go for the chip and dip. We fire off the hydro cannon. Do we see the attempted grass knot catch? Yes, we do. However, the opponent didn't throw, or perhaps they haven't even got grass knot. AKchillywilly this time opts to shield up the first move, as we haven't got icy wind, so the first move would do the most damage. We then farm up, fire off the icy wind hits for neutral, and of course applies that ever annoying debuff. Let's be real, Cresselia, even at the best of times, hits like a wet noodle, so we now easily survive up the incoming Moonblast. We can easily survive another, however I don't think we can get the Powder Snow. Farm down the opponent bait with the grass knot. Trainer, what are you doing? Abomasnow opts to throw the next icy wind, which will be secure in the knockout, and when Steelix does return, due to their steel ground typing, this ice type damage is going to hit for neutral. Steelix gets applied with the debuff effect. How ironic, as Steelix used to be the most annoying debuff user on the planet. Breaking Swipe actually doesn't knock out. We survive on 1 HP and a dream, and make one further icy wind, which the opponent opts to catch onto Obstagoon. The opponent has now switch locked themselves with a debuff, which is going to be great for us, as the opponent is at shield advantage. However, Swampert has a whole heap of energy. The first Hydro Cannon forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. AKchillywilly then farms up, throws the next Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. That rocks Obstagoon down below half health. Swampert will easily be able to survive any one move. We actually opt to shield up the Night Slash. AKchillywilly then farms up, fires off the Hydro Cannon, and I think this is a guaranteed shield, as the opponent's got Steelix. Of course, the opponent does shield, and we pivot into Cryogonal. Even if this opponent's running Cross Chop, it doesn't matter, as they've still got that debuff from the icy wind. The opponent actually obstruct, which is a huge mistake, as it gives Cryogonal even more farm. Back out comes Steelix. Let's go. Please tell me we beam this stupid steel snake. The opponent fires off the break-in swipe, and the beam's locked. It's loaded. Hi Steelix, bye Steelix, get fucking wrecked. GG's, and thanks for playing. Heading into their next battle, Cresselia, not a great lead for Swampert, as if this opponent is running Grass Knot, despite him having a non-existent attack stat, we're double weak to grass, and even Cresselia one-shots as we fire off the Hydro Cannon. AK continuing to farm up. It looks like he thought about making a catch, and we're going to have to shield up, of course, the incoming Grass Knot. Swampert going to fire off Hydro Cannon. Number 2, it takes Cresselia 6-6, then 5 Psycho Cuts for the Grass Knot, and again we don't make the catch. AKchillywilly now down both Protect Shields. As we are now all shields down, the catch is going to be super easy, as of course the opponent's going to spam the move as soon as they get it, and we catch on Cryogonal. The opponent answers our Cryogonal safe switch with a Canto Mark. Unfortunately, this is something we can't Solar Beam, as Poison does resist grass, so instead we fire off the triple axel, vamping up our attack. Cryogonal shown respectable bulk so far in today's video, so we easily survive the Dark Pulse. Cryogonal still not done, able to make one further triple axel with the attack boost. This will either knock out or force the opponent's final Protect Shield. Cryogonal takes back switch, and we are now going to be able to realign our Pokemon. Well, at least I thought we was going to realign. Instead, we opt to throw some of this energy. We've got Hydro Cannon, forces the Protect Shield, and we're looking to make yet another savage catch. AKchillywilly running rings around this opponent. We catch the Grass Knot onto Abomasnow. The opponent continue to stay in. They look to catch a Weather Ball onto Greninja. Unfortunately, trainer, we don't have Weather Ball. We've got Energy Ball for your Ninja. The Ninja's straight in and straight out. Back out comes Cresselia, and there is nothing this opponent can do. They fire off the Moonblast. We withstand the damage. AKchillywilly overfires for no reason whatsoever. Reaches one further Energy Ball, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. I think we need to get a tally of how many big booms we've landed in this video. In the next battle, we see Giratina in the lead. 2 better responses in the back, so we safe switch into Cryogonal, and the opponent answers with Cresselia. I've got zero idea of how this matchup goes, but I imagine we could probably flip switch, as we're going to continually vamp up our damage output. The prospect of flipping switch is looking even better, as the opponent did throw on alignment after 3 Psycho Cuts. The opponent again throw on alignment. So like I said earlier in the video, If you're going to use a 2-turn move into a 3-turn move, you need to threat 1, 4, or 7. We YOLO the Solar Beam. Solar Beam goes unshielded. We get the Ice Shard farm down. Let's go. Back out comes Giratina for the Shadow Claw farm down. And just look at them boosted Ice Shards. Just 2. Did some respectable chip damage to this big, bad, bulky beast the opponent bait with the Dragon Claw. And then send out... Is that a Charm Gramble or a Snarl Gramble? It's super hard to tell with our Shadow animation. Oh, that's definitely Charm. Look at the amount of damage. Holy. Abomasnow's got us covered though, saying Gramble might be pretty oppressive. We can lower its attack with the Icy Wind. We then send out Swampert. Swampert still has a Protect Shield, too high behind. We don't shield up the Crunch, and after a debuff, that doesn't do all that much damage. I've got no idea why you'd run a regular Gramble and not a Shadow, but who am I to say? The opponent gets fully Mudshot farm down, back out. Comes Giratina. We YOLO the Quake. Quake forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. The opponent then looking for the full Shadow Claw farm down, but Swampert refuses to die. Makes one further Earthquake, rocking Giratina into the red. The opponent does get the full Shadow Claw farm down. We sneak the Powder Snow. We can shield up whatever the opponent throw. They throw the Dragon Claw, but they're still going to get taken out, and we take that game. Heading into the next battle. I've just realised after about 15 minutes of shoutcasting how appropriate is the snowy background when you're running double ice. Again, we see Obstagoon in the lead. We're drawing out the Core Breaker in the lead, which is probably where we want to see it, to be fair. This opponent doesn't fire off the annoying Obstruct, instead opt to get the chip damage with the Mr AKchillywilly, fires off the first Hydro Cannon. We're already at the second Hydro Cannon, and I imagine the opponent shields, as Obstagoons love to try and force alignment. AK force to protect you, then pivots into Abomasnow to check for any fire type in the back. The opponent fire off the Night Slash. Holy, speaking of fire type, there it is, a Charizard on Fire Spin. I'd usually say you want Wing Attack, but this season Fire Spin did get a buff, and I think it's pretty interesting in this meta, to be honest. You can see there it did absurd damage to Abomasnow. We are double weak, of course. AK now sends out Swampert. The opponent for a very nice timing just before we reach the Hydro Cannon. AK calls the bait. The opponent full send the Blast Burn. It's now all down to Cryogonal to sweep up this battle. Of course, we're going to have to shield up the incoming Blast Burn. This opponent, not a fan of baiting. Holy cow, they're just YOLOing nukes. Back out comes Obstagoon, and it's time to start vamping up our attack. We fire off the Triple Axel. Triple Axel forces the opponent's final Protect Shield. I think we're just going to be forced to shield this. AK last second, commits a Protect Shield on the cross chop. Please be Giratina in the back. Please. That most certainly isn't Giratina, but it is something that is not going to tank a boosted Solar Beam. Hi, Gardevoir. Bye, Gardevoir. GG's, and thanks for playing. Chalk that one up on the big boom count. In the next battle, we see Melmetal. I haven't seen a Melmetal since about Season 7. The opponent say switches into Giratina, and Giratina is met with Cryogonal. It is going to be paramount that AKchillywilly keeps alignment here, as Abomasnow definitely wants none of the smoke from that Melmetal. The opponent running Ancient Power. This hits us for super effective, but we do easily survive one. We fire off the Triple Axel, vamping up our attack. I imagine AKchillywilly goes for the one shield and farm down. The opponent fire off the Dragon Claw. No, we might get Shadow Claw down, and we do. Uh-oh. We send out Swampert. Swampert gets the Mudshot farm down, and the opponent's got some kind of annoying charm user in the back. Happens to be Sylveon. We pivot into Abomasnow. The opponent now sends out Melmetal. Oof. This has got to be a loss, right? What kind of wizardry can AKchillywilly pull off here to come back from losing Switch? Abomasnow will survive any one move, especially after the debuff. The opponent fire off the Rock Slide. We might even survive a Rock Slide after the second debuff, but that's probably even worse as we just get Thundershock farm down. We've got Melmetal down below half health. Of course, the opponent isn't going to shield shit. They're going to be super annoying. Save 2 shields for their Charmer and look to tap farm down everything. Okay, the opponent's made a huge mistake. Switch timer most certainly would be up, but they stay in, allowing Swampert a whole heap of energy, and I think they've actually gifted us a win, as Swampert is now easily going to be able to make 3 Hydro Cannons. The first one forces the opponent's first Protect Shield. Swampert already at the back-to-back. If the opponent shields this, we've just got to fire off back-to-back. They actually don't shield that, and apparently Switch wasn't all that important. Instead, this opponent decide, you, sir, can have the game, and AKchillywilly says, thank you very much. We're just going to shield up whatever the opponent throws. They go for the Rock Slide bait. We hit the CMP, and this Hydro Cannon is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next one, we got Shadow Swampert into another Obstagoon. Holy. If you're double weak to counter, how many Obstagoons can you see in the lead? Apparently about 4. I've played Ultra League all week and I think I've seen 0 Obstagoon. I've seen loads of Polygraph. Speaking of Polygraph, we've seen 0 in this video as well. I don't know what is going on. We haven't seen a Toxgrowth either. That of course did get buffed, and another great reason not to run Obstagoon. But this is the early few weeks of this season. People can run whatever they like, much like myself. So respect to all these opponents we've seen so far. As always, we've gone off on a mad tangent. AKchillywilly farms up, throws the Hydro Cannon on the CMP tie. Hydro Cannon goes unshielded, and we see the instant pivot into Cryogonal, and oh hello Giratina. It looks like we got a whole heap of lag. We did sneak the Ice Shard, however we did start a return, so I don't really think it makes all that much difference. We're now going to fire off the triple axel. Triple axel goes unshielded, and these Ice Shards are now going to tear through Giratina. I've got no idea why the opponent's staying in such a negative matchup. The opponent fires off the Dragon Claw, we withstand the damage, make one further triple axel. If the opponent doesn't like Cryogonal, they certainly are not going to like Abomasnow either. The opponent actually had a Charmer in the back lurking the entire time. So I think that's a good example of a matchup you certainly should have switched out of. However, I think this is going to be an easy win for us now. We can just fire off Icy Wind after Icy Wind. Icy Wind forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, which is now going to lower the oppressive Charm damage output. AKchillywilly going to invest his final Protect Shield on the Psy Shock. It looks like we're reaching for the Energy Ball, and looking at the Powder Stone damage, Energy Ball is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle. Aggron? What is that doing on my screen? Definitely something our backline doesn't want to see. The opponent continue to stay in. So AK going to fire off the Hydro Cannon, looking to get this beast out of here. The opponent, of course, invest that protection. They continue to stay in, and the opponent's now going to be forced to double shield. The opponent does double shield, and they can only hit us for resisted. But let's not kill ourselves. Let's just keep Swampert alive. The opponent fires off the Rock Tomb. That is going to lower our attack. However, no attack drop will be saving this Aggron from the wrath of Shadow Swampert Hydro Cannon. Still, of course, knocks out. The opponent then sends out Cresselia. We bank the Hydro Cannon, pivot into Cryogonal, and the opponent sends out Delphox. What a team. It now becomes apparent why this opponent stayed in the opening matchup, as of course Delphox doesn't fancy the work of Swampert. However, we can just let Cryogonal go down, send out Swampert, kill Delphox with the Hydro Cannon, and Abomasnow upper shield is going to kick Cresselia a big fat butt. Back out comes Swampert. AKchillywilly fires off the Hydro Cannon at this unshielded switch lock Delphox. I actually really like Delphox. It's my one and only Shundo I possibly have. Back out comes Cresselia. Swampert going to help its buddy Abomasnow out with the chip damage. The opponent going to be forced to throw. They continue to look for the Psycho Cut farm down. That just isn't going to happen. Swampert fires off one further Hydro Cannon. We send out Abomasnow, and the opponent is going to concede the match. GG's. Heading into the next battle. Oh, hello, Kentucky Fried Chicken. Bird of Death. The opponent safe switches into their own Swampert. We attempt to catch a Hydro Cannon onto Abomasnow. AKchillywilly dares the opponent to throw the Sludge Wave. Of course, no one really wants Sludge Wave in this meta, and I've just noticed we're back on Weather Ball. So the graphic probably is going to be wrong. I might put both moves. Who knows? But it is what it is. AKchillywilly going for Weather Ball after Weather Ball. The annoying thing here is, of course, we would like to get a bit lower to give Talonflame less farm. I agree with the undercharge there. Swampert fires off another Earthquake, getting us incredibly low. We're now going to die to one Incinerate, which is best case scenario, as Swampert doesn't fancy tanking a Brave Birds. You don't want to give Talonflame a huge energy lead. Back out comes Swampert. We fire off 2 Mud Shots and the Hydro Cannon for optimal fast move timing. Swampert with a huge energy lead, able to outpace by a single turn to the next Hydro Cannon. We now force both Protect Shields. I think we're going to have to shield this. The opponent, of course, bait with the Flame Charge. The opponent then attempt to catch a Hydro Cannon onto Polygraph. We have our first Polygraph sighting of the video. Cryogonal reaching for the Solar Beam. There's no shot we Solar Beam this. AKchillywilly shields up the incoming Scold. Fires off the Solar Beam. Hi Polygraph. Bye Polygraph. Back out comes Talonflame. Talonflame going to look for the full Incinerate farm down, which they get, and it's going to be down to CMP. I believe this is IV dependent, or at least it is in the Great League. The opponent fires off the Brave Bird, and unfortunately we're going to take the loss. I've actually just looked up that matchup on PvPoke. So Swampert Talonflame is IV dependent. If you've got an 11, 12 or 13 attack, it'll be IV dependent. It'll be a coin flip. You both have 160 attack in the Ultra League. If you've got a 14 or 15 attack Swampert, you'll have 161 and you'll beat Talonflame in CMP. However, returning to the commentary, we see a Waterfall Samurott in the lead. I think Samurott is definitely better with Fury Cutter. However, Waterfall does make sense with all the fire types lurking. Waterfall is just a bit slow and clunky, and I'm not a huge fan of free turn moves. Samurott does win switch at the cost of a Protect Shield. Whatever we bring in will still be switch locked, so I agree with the decision of sending in Swampert not to reveal our third. AK overfarms, fires off the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon either resisted, secures the knockout. The opponent sends in Sceptile. Oof, very spicy. We attempt to throw the Weather Wall but lose CMP. AKchillywilly shields up the break-in swipe. Did we get the debuff? I didn't quite see it. This is 2 times speed and that come very quick. Weather Ball forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, and again we see Melmetal. Oof. Switch timers are misaligned, so AK might be able to cook something up here. We tank the Rock Slide. The opponent has no Protect Shields, too high behind, and annoyingly we have no Icy Wind here. We fire off the Weather Ball. Weather Ball does absolutely nothing. Is our switch timer up? AK spamming the switch. Let's go. Both Sceptile and Abomasnow both through. 1 charge move each, so switch timer should be around 20-25 seconds misaligned. AK shields up the Rock Slide. Can we get this Hydro Cannon off before the opponent's switch timer pops up? Yes, we can. Hydro Cannon isn't lethal. The opponent stays in. We get the Mud Shot farm down. 1 Bullet Seed takes us out. We fire off the Weather Ball at bad timing. Is Weather Ball enough to knock out? No, it's not. Oh! If we would have thrown 1 Powder Snow, we would have won that game, but the opponent wins a very close game. Well played to both trainers. In the next battle, we see Swampert into Regirock, a very nice lead. The opponent stays in. We farm up, throw the Hydro Cannon. Hydro Cannon hits for super effective, but Reggie pretty tick, regardless if it's Ice, Steel, or Rock in this scenario. The opponent likely to YOLO a Focus Blast, or apparently bait with the Stone Edge. Not a good bait, as Swampert doesn't need to shield anything in the Ultra League. The opponent opts to shield up the Hydro Cannon. Surely this one's the Focus Blast. Last second AK invests the Protect Shield. The opponent this time does YOLO the Blast. We get a huge Mud Shot farm down. Ooh, Farisian, a bit of a core breaker. We're going to pivot into Cryogonal, drawing out Skeledirge. Cryogonal also has access to Night Slash, not that we're running it. And I don't think the opponent would respect it either way, as Night Slash with non-same type attack bonus is pretty garbage. The opponent getting a huge Incinerate farm down, which is pretty brutal. The opponent actually shielded up the next triple axel, which is advantageous for us. However, Abomasnow most certainly is not going to fancy tanking the Sacred Sword. However, Swampert comes in, wins the charge move prior event. We're spamming the switch. Okay, the opponent dumps energy. I think that should be all she wrote. Leaf Blade takes us out. Abomasnow now can just shield once, get to the double Weather Ball, and we're going to vanquish Farisian back to its Pokeball. We shield up the incoming Sacred Sword, 1 and throw. Weather Ball won't be lethal, but I believe Abomasnow wins CMP, so we can just throw 3, throw the next one on the CMP tie, and that is going to be all she wrote. So 2 huge mistakes from the opponent. Firstly, I've got no idea why you'd throw energy against Swampert, as Swampert can only hit you for resisted, and also the opponent invested a really poor shield on their Skeledirge. In the next battle, we see Togekiss, or a Pokemon like called Togepiss, in the lead. We pivot into Cryogonal, drawing out Cresselia. Last time we saw Cresselia save switch into Cryogonal, we did flip switch, landing that big beam. Let's see if AK opts to make a play at winning switch. We get some lag, which is unfortunate, and this opponent is running Future Sight that lands for heavy neutral damage. We fire off the next triple axel. Triple axel isn't lethal. If the opponent YOLO yet another Future Sight, will get taken out. The opponent goes straight Future Sight all the way. I've actually seen a few Cresselia run Future Sight and Grass Knot, so if we send in Swampert, we're not out of the waters yet, as they could have Grass Knot. We come in, throw the Hydro Cannon ASAP. Hydro Cannon forces the Protect Shield, so of course we're going to match shields. We found that very annoying. Grass Knot, Future Sight moveset. Swampert can now overfarm. Throw on the CMP tie instead. Stay in school, kids. Learn to count. We catch the next Grass Knot onto Abomasnow. The opponent now give up switch, sending back out Togekiss. Are you serious? This is not a place Togekiss wants to be. Abomasnow farms up, fires off the Weather Ball. Weather Ball forces the opponent's final Protect Shield, but Abomasnow so spammy, especially on Weather Ball. I think an argument can be made for both Weather Ball and Icy Wind. I personally much prefer the spammier moveset of Weather Ball. It now makes sense why the opponent sent back out Tokius, as the ABA weak to Abomasnow is Swampert in the back AK, shields up the Hydro Cannon, returns fire with the energy ball. High Swampert, by Swampert, back out comes Cresselia, we reach the weather ball, and Abomasnow is going to clutch up a very nice sweep. GG's and thanks for playing. Heading into the next battle. Oof, nightmare lead, but two decent responses in the back. Of course, Abomasnow wouldn't fancy tanking a sludge bomb. What is the opponent sending Dragonite out for into Cryogonal? This poor Dragonite being sacrificed to the Pokegods. The opponent does YOLO the superpower, which we're going to shield. Oof. I feel sorry for this opponent. They evidently misclicked, as SCAV would have been the correct counter. We've all done it. We've all misclicked or panic switched. It is what it is. Cryogonal fires off the boosted triple axel, forcing a protection. We're now in the 1-to-1 shield. We're just going to realign, send Swampert out into SCAV and Abomasnow onto that Venusaur. The opponent attempts to catch the Hydro Cannon. We show great discipline, immediately pivot into Abomasnow, and Abomasnow easily going to be able to outpace Venusaur. The first weather ball forces the opponent's final protect shield. We can just shield up whatever the opponent throws. They YOLO the sludge bomb, which would be the correct play. We've got the Hydro Cannon banked. Swampert does lose CMP to SCAV. However, no one move will take us out. Ooh, I'm not sure on the undercharge. I think the undercharge is a bit unnecessary. We actually survived the sludge bomb, get the powder snow farm down, so apparently it is the correct play. But either way, this would be game, set and match. If that sludge bomb would have took us out, that would have got somewhat dicey. The opponent YOLO the Mega Horn. We withstand the damage, reach the Hydro Cannon, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's and thanks for playing. So if the undercharge would have went wrong and we would have took a Vine Whip, perhaps that Mega Horn would have been the win con for the opponent. Well, there's no probably, as we survived on that 1 HP, so one Vine Whip would have put us in Mega Horn range. Moving on to the next one, we see Walrein in the lead. We tank the Icicle Sphere. Instead of us looking to catch the next Icicle Sphere, the opponent opts to give up switch, tanking the Earthquake onto Cresselia. AKchillywilly farming up, looking to return the favour. Did we catch the Grass Knot? Onto Abomasnow. Yes, we did. One beautiful catch deserves another. Very nice play from AK. Cresselia is incredibly thick, so I agree with the Weather Ball here. I don't think Energy Ball would be lethal, so we're going to need to throw 2 moves. Perhaps it would be lethal. I'm unsure. But either way, I'm not disappointed with this play, as we can now just overfarm massively and look to potentially Energy Ball that return in Walrein. AK overfarms, fires off the Weather Ball. Weather Ball goes unshielded. The opponent's final Pokemon is Skeledirge. We actually survive and Incinerate to my surprise, fire off the Weather Ball for some chip damage. I think this battle is a great example of why you shouldn't always unnecessarily give up switch, even if you make a nice catch, as the opponent has now aligned the Skeledirge with Swampert. They were in an advantageous matchup to start with. They should have just stuck that one out and looked to get rid of Swampert. Instead, they've aligned their Skeledirge with Swampert. Of course, both Skeledirge and Cresselia are weak to Dark, so I do understand the pivot. However, perhaps they could have just looked to shield their Walrein, get rid of Swampert, and then look to pivot. That would have been a better way of playing this one out. AKchillywilly now YOLO in the Solar Beam. Does the opponent respect the damage? They do not. The opponent gets one shot vanquished back to their Pokeball. Our Swampert is now incredibly low. Can the opponent Incinerate farm us down? Swampert invest in a protection. I think the opponent's made a bit of a mistake throwing a charge move. If Swampert survives that Incinerate, we're going to take the dub. Do we survive? Of course we do. Who was worried? Swampert going to carry us to victory. GG's and thanks for playing. So again, why I said the opponent made a mistake is every time you throw a charge move, even as an optimal fast move timing, you're going to give the opponent 1 free turn. So in that example, we got half a Mud Shot free. We had 2 Protect Shields. The opponent should have just looked to try and Incinerate farm us down. In the next battle, see Charizard in the lead. The opponent say switches into Swampert. We chip him with the Hydro Cannon. Do we make the catch on Abomasnow? Yes, we do. AKchillywilly's counting absolutely on point. Hydro Cannon, an absolutely busted move, but Abomasnow easily withstands the damage. The opponent going straight Hydro Cannon all the way, looking to get off some chip damage. Abomasnow easily tanks to AK, now over farms, fires off the neutral Weather Ball, which will be secure in the knockout. The opponent actually looking to flip switch. Unfortunately, we have played to the CMP tile that we do not win. We shield the Hydro Cannon, fire off the Weather Ball. Looks like AK just wants to keep alignment, and we really need alignment. The opponent double shields, then aggressively send out Charizard. Charizard is unshielded. Oof, they aren't going to fancy this Hydro Cannon. We either get some Weather Ball chip damage. We then go for that wham, bam combo play. Send out Swampert. Send that Charizard with its silly hat back to their Pokeball. The opponent now sends out their own Swampert. AK could shield this up and Mudshot farm down, and that is exactly what we look to do. We shield up the incoming Hydro Cannon, get the full Mudshot farm down. The opponent's final Pokemon is Kanto Mark Earthquake. Did get nerfed last season, but still more than enough to take the dub. GG's and thanks for playing. Huge shout out to AKchillywilly, as always, providing some very entertaining battles with some very unique team comps. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing if you like your battles featured on my channel. A link to my battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.